So Forem stands for empowering community, and it always will, no matter how much the code changes over time. So this presentation is really about the what of Forem. We've been talking a lot about the why. Last year, I did a presentation which talked about, why it's important to do things in a decentralized way. Every forum is its own database, its own instance, its own separate thing. There's no central authority, which is good and bad in some ways, but we really think is overall really good for the internet. But this presentation is more about the what. What is Forem? What have we been up to? And maybe why does it matter to you as opposed to, the world sometimes? So one big thing is that Forem is ready. For a while, we've been saying, Forem is not quite ready for the mainstream. We're working on it. It still powers dev, but there's still some code that says dev in it, and it's not like every nook and cranny is perfect, but as of today, you really can use Forem. And there's a lot of places to go and find out exactly how to do that. I can't cover everything today, but while there's still work to be done, there's still plenty of bugs. Forem is ready for use, which is a lot of fun. And if you want to find out more about Forem, I really won't cover everything. There's a lot of links here. I need to update my slides in the posts in order for this to be in those slides because I added this last minute. But there is plenty of reading to do if you are inspired by anything you hear in this talk. So Forem is first and foremost open source code. And I'm really glad to have followed Rizal, who talked a lot about open source, which helped me, make sure I wasn't using some of the wrong terms, even after doing this much open source software. I think there's a lot of words involved. There's a lot of things, that are confusing. Not everyone really, feels like they're always on the same page. And if you feel lost in this presentation, no worries. But Forem really is, fundamentally a lot about open source. But specifically, Forem is open source social media. And what does that mean? Well, it means whatever we think of social media to mean. But the fact that we have this community conference where thousands of people are literally contributing to the conference in some way. We have everybody who's leaving posts, supportive comments, asking questions, anything anyone else can read, maybe asking the question for someone else who didn't even think to ask it. That really is, social media. It's about online community. And that is what we do at Forem. So Forem started with dev, which had its origins just as a website for software developers. So, we created the functionality so that people could post, maybe so they could comment, so they could post code snippets, so they could post GitHub repos, and on and on and on and on. And along the way, we felt like we needed this to be more useful for more people. We felt like if we're going to be a community of software developers, they should have agency, they should be able to contribute, and they should be able to use the code as well. So we went down the journey of extracting Forem and making it totally reusable. I said it's ready, it's not finished, but we know that it can scale to as many people as Dev has handled over the years. And we know that we've tackled a lot of problems. We've built so many moderation features. We've built so many commenting features, on and on and on and on. We've fixed many bugs. There's been over 600 individual contributors, which is a lot for a single open source project, folks who contributed code. And that's because it's dev. People log in, they see what's going on, they see a bug, they have, maybe a sense of how to fix it. And, that's what Forem really is all about. It's also ready for rapid improvement. So we've been spending a lot of time, generalizing Forem, turning, hard-coded copy into variables, turning environment, functionality into settings in the Forem so that it can be reused as easily as possible. And with that, we felt like we've had to, take our focus off of certain dev features. And one thing I want to highlight is that we've allowed too many listicles on the feed as one example that is, currently, I think if you go to dev, you're going to see, a few too many posts that are like, just lowest common denominator sometimes, not that each one is maybe wrong in place, but all that is to say that we really feel like now we are turning a corner and opening up to more contribution. We have more work going into the core algorithms, to the design, to everything that's going to keep making Forem better and better. Forem is a complement to dev. So we really want every forum possible to exist. And there are a lot of code-specific forums popping up, which makes sense because, folks are able to kind of draw from the dev ecosystem, build in a certain type of way. And when we really think of dev as capable of offering breadth in the developer ecosystem, we want Forem to be able to offer depth. So one thing, the code newbie community is able to sort of fork off in its own and have its only purpose to be helping newbies succeed, which is maybe not what every developer, wants to solely be focused on dev. Although, there's a major emphasis on inclusion and newbie growth there, but Code Newbie gets to be the special place that's wholly focused on it. And we can go off and host a conference entirely here without disrupting the main dev feed. It's really been a lot of fun, and we see a lot of forums just starting to get going, which we see as complements to dev. There's a programming language called Zig, which we saw started its own forum, which obviously if it was just posting to dev, a lot of the content's going to get buried. If you really care about the Zig programming language, join zig.news. Forem is also a complement to other types of community platforms. So we distribute content to Twitter, people post to Slack. We've been using the forum today in addition to a Discord, which is kind of new to us. We wanted to sort of branch out and try different things. Forem is primarily async. The content sticks around for a while. It gets distributed on the internet. If you're on Twitter, you can still use dev. You can kind of jump between forums. We really think it's just part of the internet and a really good part. Forem is flexible, so it's designed to be configured for big forums, small forums, private forums, public forums. Here on the right, I have a picture, a screenshot of our internal team forum. And you see, we have a water cooler chat. We have our incident retros. When we make a mistake, we publicize this to the whole team to de-silo some of this stuff. We share learnings. We have the team weekly update pinned at the top. And this is also a private forum. So if you go to forum.team, you don't get access to all of our work. It's also hosted, in its own space. So if your team wants both the privacy of, a shared blog that you can, de-silo conversations and make sure more people are looped in, while also maybe depending on your security needs, you want to host it in your own, behind your own firewall, in your own database. Forem really covers a lot of ground, and we really want it to be a general purpose solution. Forem is extensible. So CodeLand really did not require any custom code going into the Forem code base. It's actually the work of mostly Ridwana and Anna from our team a couple years ago who really made this type of functionality possible with some work to really extract what makes this kind of stuff possible and make it, reusable, go in different directions depending on how you want. There are certain parts of a forum which are dedicated functionality that, has constraints. And then there are certain parts that are really wide open. If you know how to do front-end development, you can kind of hack on top of a forum. Forem is designed for growth. So a lot of what we do with our approach is to have confidence that Forem couldn't succeed without having been proven to foster growth as a tool. So this graph I have on the right here is actually the chart of Google results where dev ranks first or second. And you see it goes sort of up and down, it's not like a straight line, Google's finicky, but Forem is really designed to grow in a lot of ways. And one of these ways is that content gets distributed and it is sticky. So people find it and then they, maybe they make a post themselves. They create, more room for growth. And any individual forum, can kind of get going and create this kind of chart. Now, this is only Google stuff. Of course, people find it organically. They post links to their private Slack, they word of mouth, they just, they're people's bootcamp teachers might tell them, hey, you might want to join dev. There's a lot of ways these things grow. But the bottom line is that we feel like dev was built to grow, and every line of code that ever powered dev is baked right into Forem. We also feel like Forem is designed for normal, busy people. And this is why it's sort of a complement to Discord and Slack, and why it can kind of coexist with a lot of other software out there, is that Forem sort of reorganizes to sort of get you caught up when you come back. If you come back every day, that's fine. If you come back, once a week, that's fine. And, if we fall short in this sort of way, we also, want to improve that. So we don't want to force you to be an everyday user. We also don't want to build something that over time tailors itself. So it's only 100 power users sticking around because it's too hard to follow the conversation otherwise. We really want Forem to be built for normal people and to be built in such a way where you can come back at your own pace and get caught up as easily as possible. Forem is a growing knowledge base. So this sort of speaks to, the growth of the whole thing, but unlike chat-based interfaces or, Twitter or, a lot of different form factors, Forem is really a thing built for searchability, for organization, for a combination of sort of, organic organization plus curation. And it's really cool how, over time, a Forem just kind of gets more and more helpful. And I often find myself landing on dev when I'm trying to, fix a bug on dev. And, I'll see comments that sort of build on the thing that's being discussed in the post. It's really open-ended. It's not, necessarily a strict Q&A where a certain type of topic is going to get very closely matched. You sort of can take a Forem in any direction. We've taken dev in a certain direction, and the way it can be used as a tool is really exciting. And we really feel like we're just at the beginning. Forem is, of course, not centrally owned by anyone. So if you have a Forem, it's your database, it's your domain. We do host Forems. So, maybe we'll provide a hosting service, just like DigitalOcean might host it for you in another circumstance. But we certainly do not, control your database. We don't, share user information between Forems. Everything is entirely siloed and built to sort of grow as a medium-sized space run by community leaders and really designed for privacy and an open web. With that being said, we want to provide tooling that makes Forem centrally accessible as much as possible. So we have a Forem iOS app as one thing. Of course, you can access a Forem via the web. You go to dev.to, but you can also find it in the Forem app. We have the Android app coming soon. And we have, a few more convenient features coming down the pike. So we really want to make authentication, a lot easier, jumping between Forems, even though your identity is entirely just part of a single Forem. Of course, my Forem.team identity has nothing to do with my dev identity, but we do want to make these things as convenient as possible. So, we're working pretty hard on just making tooling for Forems to succeed beyond, just being a website. Forem is, of course, transparent and completely scrutinizable. On the right-hand side of this slide, you're going to see all the code that powers the core algorithm that serves dev. So, if we want to overcome, abuse, digital addiction, misinformation, and really strive to create the most positively engaging software possible, in this space, we really think transparency has to be baked in, and that's what makes open source so cool in this space. So if you want to know, why you're seeing content on maybe, some other social media platforms, you're really never going to get a good answer. But with Forem, you might not get the whole picture depending on, the data situation, the specifics. But everything down to the code is completely scrutinizable. We hope that, someday there's journalists following changes in the forum code if they really want to understand the truth of what makes forum forum. With that being said, forum is still too complicated. Over time, we really want to improve the usability for admins and end users. We have a lot of functionality that we've tried that we probably want to get out of the system. We have certain types of convenience features which needs to go in. So when we talk about forum being ready, there's still a long way to go. So on the right, I have a screenshot of a certain setting page in admin, which I think is currently just a pretty long list of random configuration, which is just a little too hard to use. And we really want to keep improving this over time. We get a lot of good open source contributions to help. We're really working on this as a focus internally. And we really think that this is gonna just make forum a little bit better every day. We're also, exploring new ideas. So here are a few screenshots from, recent design critiques and sprints here. So here you have, different types of forum themes, which could hypothetically go, be used by the brands listed here. So, forum themed like LinkedIn looks a little like LinkedIn, things like that. These are our sort of concepts. We have some of the work we're doing in the new composer to make things a lot more approachable, more straightforward, more usable, less reading the manual, more intuitively understanding things. Forum is something to build on in a really, big way with a lot of creativity. So sort of what I mean here is that, there are opportunities to take forum in different directions to make forum, a central resource for whatever you're doing. So we feel like we want to encourage co-location of blogging and community support, documentation. You don't have to put all of these things into a single forum. You can kind of link out to other resources, but forum is a really, really good central point when it comes to your community. Maybe that's your customers. If you're, a software company who needs a community, around the users of your code, or maybe it's, enthusiasts who share the same sports team. But either way, we feel like forum is built for building on top of in, as many ways as you can creatively think of. And of course, CodeLand is a big example of that. Forum is an investment, meaning, it can take some time to get going, but we really think it pays off in the long run. We really feel like organizations and individuals that really invest in growing a forum today are going to succeed in the long run. Dev was really a long run, play. It took, it was a couple of years of running the Practical Dev Twitter account before we even made the website. And then it was a few years later after that before we went open source. And then we made forum so much of what we do. And all of that has led to, a lot of value distribution. And we really think that anyone that starts from where we are now and starts building in the same way has a head start, but they need to invest in the software. It's also a partnership between, us, the maintainers of forum, you, the users, you, the contributors, you, the members. We won't always agree on every line of code. We won't always agree that, removing a feature is actually a benefit because it makes things simpler. We really strive to do things in a thoughtful way, but, we have to sort of make choices, and we have to think of this as a partnership because forum is sort of opinionated in a lot of ways. A lot of what we want to do is restrict the capacity to just, ruin the interface, in a certain type of way, but we really want to open up creativity in another. And it really is a partnership over time. Forum is self-hostable by you or hosted by us. This sort of just goes into the details of how do you get a forum up. There's a lot of content that we've put out there on how to do this. Right now, it's still, sort of takes a little reading and some expertise, but we strive to make it easier and easier over time. But if you want to get to know the basics of, sysadmin work, hosting a website on a generic cloud, hosting your own forum is a tremendous learning experience, and we definitely encourage you to try it if you're attending this conference. Forum is value creation. So we feel like over the years, we've put a lot into forum. We've hired some great folks. We've worked with, over 600 people have contributed to it. We've put, just a lot of work in. It costs a lot of money to build a thing like this, but we really feel like the outcome is that more and more people get to reap that value, from this starting point. So, Facebook, Quora, Twitter, Pinterest, all of these independent closed source platforms need to have their own teams of thousands of engineers. And we really feel like things are better when they're shared and when value is created, when transparency is inherent. And we want the value to trickle down to community leaders who don't need to build their own engineering teams to reap this value. And at the end, if you're listening to this chat, this presentation, if you're attending this conference, Forem is for you in one way or another. You're literally using Forem if you're watching this on the day of the conference. If you're creative, you want to sort of think about ways you can hack on top of Forem, the way we built, CodeLand on top of the Code Newbie forum. It's for you to spot a bug and create an issue. We have Hacktoberfest coming up. We're going to have a lot of specific things folks can work on if they want to contribute. It's for you to learn about self-hosting. And it's for you to bring Forem to your organization if you want to get involved that way. We really think that Forem is a pretty exciting opportunity. We want to sell our Forem cloud hosting to as many people as we can. We're really excited to maintain a stable business model in this way. And we really want you involved in however you want to get involved. And so that's my dog, Ruby. I don't know if you can hear her barking in the background just now, but we really feel like Forem is ready for the prime time. It's ready for you to use it. It's ready for hosting a conference on a new forum. We hosted CodeLand on Dev last year, if you remember. This year it's on CodeLand. We want to try new things, and we really want to do it now. And we're excited about some of the early things we're seeing happen. And I'll just leave you with the request that you check out forem.com and get started one way or another. Contact us if you have any sense that your organization might want to dabble in this a little bit. We are going to have a lot of tie-ins with devs. So if you have a team that's hosting like a dev organization, we want to do things that complement that, and you can maybe go deeper with some Forem stuff, and talk to us about your long-term strategy. We want you to reap the benefits of your search engine optimization. We want you to get the backlinks. We really want this to be a partnership with as many people as possible. And we just want to hear from you one way or another. You can find me on Dev or Code Newbie or Twitter, and very much happy to follow up on anything here. And if not me, send an email to hello@forem.com if you have any questions for our support or anybody in our team. And with that, thanks for joining.